Okay, verses 16 through 19. It will save you. What's he talking about? Wisdom. Wisdom, okay? Wisdom will save you also from the adulteress, from the wayward wife with her seductive words, who has left the partner of her youth and ignored the covenant she made before God. For her house leads down to death, and her paths to the spirits of the dead. None who go to her return or attain the paths of life. Now, before we look at this together, what are some differences that you see between the temptation described in verses 12 through 15 and the temptation described in verses 16 through 19? What are some differences you see there? In the first one, it says wicked men, and this is an adulterous woman, right? The first one, it's men, plural. This is woman, singular. So, in the one, the wicked men are described by their perverse words. The adulterous woman has seductive words, right? Wicked as opposed to wayward. Wicked and perverse men as opposed to a woman ignoring the covenant she made before God. So there are some differences here. And as we will see, particularly kind of building up, even through chapter 9, but as we will see, these wisdom is presented as a woman, we saw it last week, calling aloud on the top of the wall, calling aloud at the gates, calling aloud at the city square, come to me, come to me, come to me. And evil and sin and a temptation away from God's way is described as this adulterous woman who hides in the shadows and sees somebody unsuspecting coming and says, hey, come with me. We're going to have a great time. Come with me. And it's just this, these two different ways that Solomon uses to present the options of living a sinful life, living a godly life. Okay, so let's look at these verses then, 16 through 19. This section, verses 16 through 19, begins exactly the same as verses 12 through 15. Wisdom will save you from. Wisdom will save you from. Both are dangerous. Both are deadly. And wisdom is what will save you from either of them. Not only is this woman committing adultery against her husband, but she is committing adultery against her God. It says that she has left her covenant. She is said to have seductive words. It means a smooth talker. When you think of a smooth talker, what do you think of? Yes, flattery is definitely a part of this. And a smooth talker is usually somebody who has practiced what they're going to say, right? Usually not the first time they have made their sales pitch, right? Yeah. And so this is a woman who represents sinful temptation, seductive temptation. The appeal. Why is it so well practiced? It works. And who knows it works? Satan, absolutely. So the fact that this temptation, this adulterous woman, as Solomon portrays it, the fact that she is a smooth talker, and the idea also has, as Joyce had said, the idea of flattery. So this is a temptation that appeals to the ego. This isn't just a sexual temptation. It appeals to the ego. And it says that her house leads to death. Unless a woman was a temple prostitute, prostitution usually occurred in the woman's home. Remember who was the prostitute whose house was in the wall? Rahab. Yep. And Solomon warns his son here that going with this smooth-talking, adulterous woman is going to set him on a course that leads to death. Now Solomon says here, and this is my question to you, Why do you think Solomon says that none who go to her to return or attain the paths of life? There are just some sins that get a hold on people in such a way or to such a depth that it's really hard to break free from. And I think that's what Solomon is saying here. None who go to her return or attain the paths of life. Doesn't mean they can't be saved, but it means it's going to be a day in, day out battle. One commentator, John Kitchen, wrote this, said, "The pull of immorality's vortex is nearly inescapable. When you walk through the door of sexual sin, it slams behind you, and you soon discover that it is a door with a knob on only one side. While the possibility of repentance is always held out to the penitent, the nature of sexual sin is such that it blinds to that possibility."